Need marriage counseling services? Then get in touch with our professional and friendly team to learn more about our range of custom and tailored services designed to suit your exact needs. Every one of our professionals has acquired years of experience, which ensures you get the very best. Our experienced staff is waiting to hear from you and to answer any specific question you may have on how we can meet your needs. Just ask for a consultation and let us prove our commitment to you as we promise to maintain the highest level of quality and commitment. Your satisfaction is our primary concern, so please don't hesitate to get in contact with us and let us show you all of the great options we have.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening. Namaste to everybody and whatever side of the world you're on. Grand rising as well. This is your talk radio host, CC, and we are in our first module of self discipline and mastery, as well as bulletproof motivation. I told you guys we're going to hit the ground running this year and make sure that we have a great year and a great start off. So I'm going to start you off with some easy listening for a second, and then let me go ahead and get the space open. We're already in our clubhouse, so you guys are welcome to come there, get your seats. So get in here, get in here. I stole that from Armand Wiggins, so shouts out to Armand Wiggins on YouTube. So again, like I said, I'm going to give you guys time to get in here and do what you got to do. You know, I'm always original, but sometimes you got to copy someone, especially when you like to jot this out. So anyway, I always try to give credit to where it's due and things like that. So if I get something from one of my fellow YouTubers and things like that on YouTube, I'll say who I got it from and whatnot. So yes, I have that from Armand. Get in here, get in here. He's pretty much a good guy and things like that. I've seen him on there. And then there's something else I think I stole from Official King Payne. It was funny because I thought it was hilarious. And it was something on period. Yeah, I think that's what I got from him. So shouts out to Official King Payne. Follow him and things like that. Also, make sure you guys check out my recommended channels that I like and people that I really, really enjoy watching and things like that. Because I'll be in the bushes of YouTube and I'll be seeing a lot of good stuff. So you guys who are great YouTubers have a lot of followings and things like that. I may shout you out from time to time. Those of you who are small YouTubers, same thing, because I see some good YouTubers who have some great shows. So I'll be in the bushes watching and I'll shout you out. That's my way of being positive and things like that on these YouTube streets. Okay. So, like I said, self-discipline and mastery, bulletproof motivation, things like that. So I'm going to start you off again with some easy listening and things like that. So let's get the space open as well. So let me let you guys listen to that real quick. these years off being very positive and being very normal and things being abnormal but normal. Okay, so we're all going through COVID. We're all going through a period of time where things are not quite as they seem and nothing's going to be the same. So I figured what we were going to start doing is making sure that our top of our show is to make sure you guys are comfortable, happy, and content with the content, and also with your host, myself. And like I told you guys, I always believe in being professional and good to you guys and making sure the shows become better and more easier for you guys to tolerate, listen to, and also learn things and things like that. Also, I want you guys to start writing things down. What I expect from you guys is show rules and etiquette to know that this is a basic, decent live show. So we're gonna have some bloopers. We're gonna have some things that go right and some things that are gonna go wrong. But that's a part of the grace and the goodness of having a live show. So you all know you can call in live at 515-602-9765. And we can discuss openly the show itself and parts of it after the show as underway. And we've been about maybe 30 minutes in. And I open up the phone lines as well for you guys to call. That's 515-602-9765. So, like I said, you all know the live show etiquette and what to do. So you guys know my basic rules. It's no talking and taking photographs while I'm doing things. And also that includes screen recording or screenshotting unless I say that you can. It's already going to be recorded anyway. But my whole thing is I don't expect my viewers to do it, and you're not allowed to use my content to go chop it up and make commentary because I told you guys you're not allowed to do that. And I meant what I said. Also, no trolling, and then on top of that, no level of disrespect will be tolerated. Understand you will be blocked, muted, reported for repeat, offensive, or out of line, out of context, or off-topic behavior, or non-conducive, disruptive, immature, childish behavior. So you will be asked to leave the live, and if you excessively curse, I will boot you off of there. And if you even say as much as one or two cuss words, I will boot you off of there because I'll give you a warning. Ow! I'll probably give you 2 warnings. Ow! All right? So you guys know if I have to slap you on the wrist 1 or 2 times, after a while, I'm going to have to boot you off the show. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this live. Also follow Talk Radio Diva, Dawn Diva Coaching, IMCC Coaching, and Team World Online for children, adolescents, young adults. Make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe to the Facebook, the Twitter, the Twitch, the YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And I can get more than those social medias in my name. So we all know I'm pretty good at things, right? So I figured, I wanted to make sure we have some good laughs, giggles, and kiki and cackling and things like that. So I decided to dive right in with the jokes and things like that. Also, we're going to have important questions and things like that at the end of the show. Having a little bit of review and refocusing and progression and things like that. And hopefully on the community link, you'll be able to answer the questions that I ask you as well. So we'll go over that after the show. So as of right now, let's talk about the show itself. Good, right? So let's talk about the levels of self-discipline and mastery. It can be hard to motivate yourself and work out or work at things, even when you don't really want to learn or work at the same darn time, okay? So we know it gets a little boring and we don't like it and things like that. So we're like, okay. Awkward moment, all right? So we have to ask ourselves, do I really want to get up here and do this? Do I want to work every day, even when I don't feel like it? That's part of self-discipline. So I figured in these modules, you guys would learn a lot and feel more motivated and things like that. So I figured today I would train you guys how to train like a Navy SEAL, how to train like the military, because it can be hard work. It can be really hard work motivating yourself to get up and do something even when you don't. So like Team World Online for children, adolescents, young adults, you have to get up, get out and do something. Don't let the world pass you by. Part of that is learning how to not get upset and how to go and get into a motivated mindset and abundance mindset, unity and advanced mindset. And that's not easy to do. So, but while that may be true and things like that, it's also fair to say it's much harder to trek through the desert for days or to be out there on duty and do certain things and assignments. But it is whether you want to go and have to run over to the barracks in an enemy fire or to make life or death decisions when your body's screaming at you to sleep. So when we think about the military, think about how hard they work. Think about how Navy SEALs work. Think about how recon works. Think about these people who go out here and defend against enemies, foreign and domestic, or those of us who are actual levels of civilians who also sign oaths ourselves to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic, especially if you work for the government or you have a government job or you're a contractor like I was. So at one point in time, there was an oath that I signed. I re-signed another oath as a civilian. And that's to still protect against enemies, foreign and domestic, and do my due diligence as a citizen. And, I was thinking about Joe Biden and his speech yesterday about, you just don't do things just because you don't want to or you don't feel like you have to. You do it because that's your civil duty and your civic duty. So I thought about this and I thought about the military and I thought about people who really work hard and they sleep hard, they work hard, they play hard. But one thing about the military, they do their job whether they want to or not. So there are times when they're just feeling like, oh, like I don't want to do this. But you got to think when they're out there in the field and when they're out there with all kind of things going on, shrapnel, machine guns, all kind of stuff. Think about when they've lost some of their civilian comrades and things like that, and people who they have to save and things like that, or their actual buddies and things like that when they're battle buddies out in the field. So you have to think about this when they're going through hard times. That's not easy to deal with. So what do you think they're having to do? They make life and death like decisions and things like that, even when their body's screaming, when it's screaming for them to quit. So when I think about team never quit and being motivated and continue to keep going, even when there's times where it's just like, you know what, I quit. I'm not okay. When we think about this, of course I'm talking about Navy SEALs. Of course I'm talking about recon. Of course I'm talking about the Marines. Of course I'm talking about the Coast Guard. Of course I'm talking about the National Guard. I'm talking about military. I'm talking about people who have to learn how to persevere, even paratroopers. I'm talking about even the Spartans and things like that back in the Greek mythology. And when we're thinking about Marcus Aurelius and when they were at war, they didn't have the armor. They didn't have the armored vehicles. They didn't have the tanks to protect them. They had to go to war and didn't know if they're coming back. So when we think about getting up every day with self-discipline and motivation, we think about all of these for centuries, and countries have been training their military to not only be able to fight, but also be able to do so in the most dire and stressful situations and circumstances. So what's the secret? I'm going to let you know just now. And bulletproof motivation and self-discipline, when you're thinking about a military, and you think about military combat training, what do they have to do? They train, they train, they train, they train. They get up even when it's like, hurry up and wait. They got to get up at crackhead hours in the morning and be up there. They're like, hurry up and wait. Get out, get their gunny sack, get all their boots and everything together. They have to be out there and ready and hurry up and wait. All right. So when we think about they have to PT, they have to practice, they have to be in due diligence, they have to be in cadence. So even if they're blindfolded, they have to be able to put their rifles together. They have to be able to take care of each other no matter what situation they're in. So when we think about all of this, those are stressful circumstances, right? We think about all the things that they have to do to survive. So what's the secret? Partly the secret comes from learning to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, worst, dire situations. That is even more occasionally referred to as discomfort training. So when we think about discomfort, we think about our life and we think about our lifestyle and how many comforts we have because our military goes out there, they defend us foreign and domestic. We have our freedoms, our civic freedoms to walk around every day free, not having to worry about getting shot at. We're not having to worry about dying. We're not having to worry about different things. So write these things down. We don't have to worry about IEDs exploding. We don't have to worry about aircraft and things like that dropping drones and all kind of different things on us. So when we think about all of this, we have to think to ourselves, what a privileged good life we all have. We don't have to go through the things that they go through. So we have to think to ourselves, let's go and move towards discipline and self-mastery. But we have to learn how to be discomfort and deal with discomfort training. That is life hardships. So it's the same exact thing, except for it's not as bad, right? So I'm going to lead you into self-discipline and mastery. So we're here. We realize that there's a level of truth to the matter that we always want to be comfortable. We always want to return to the homeostasis that we know as signals or inputs, outputs that make us comfortable or uncomfortable. Most of us prefer to be comfortable. Most of us prefer to be happy. Most of us prefer to not be distracted. And most of us prefer to not have a level of discomfort in our life. And that's not easy because I will tell you guys, I have had many of discomfort days and times where I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I hate this. I hate it here. I was a happy camper, and I'm still not. But there is a level and layer of survive. You either make the choice to survive and you make the choice to get up, get out, do something, and don't let the world pass you by. Here's the reason. There are many days where I felt like quitting, like I told you guys. But self-discipline and mastery helped me to be bulletproof motivated. And part of that is being able to see myself in a glass half full instead of half empty. And part of that was because I realized if I quit, as far as I've gone, as far as I put in the time, as far as I put in all the effort, all the hard work, all the money that I've invested in my craft and what I do, I had to think about this because I had a conversation with my mom today, and it was not easy because the psychological needs are always there to have support, and the needs have to be met. So in discomfort training, you learn that sometimes your needs aren't going to get met, but I realized sometimes you're going to need help. And it was something that Judge Frykowski had said to me, even though I was pissed with her how she talked to me. I sat down and thought about what she was saying. Maybe you need your mom sometimes. And I thought about it. A lot of people do not have their mothers. A lot of people do not have their fathers. A lot of people do not have their sisters and brothers. I have been lucky to have my mom most of my adult life. Okay, so it's not easy because I've literally tried to get off my mom's teeth and things like that. But life threw me some curveballs. Okay. And I will tell you, life did not deal me some fair circumstances. And there was hardships that happened. And I ended up having to need my mom more than I ever wanted to. And that's something that my mom was telling me, as a single mother, you're going to need some help. You can't just do this by yourself. Did you think that I was doing this by myself, raising you? I was like, well, I thought you did because you made it look easy. She was like, but that's the thing. It was not easy. So I had to take this learning lesson because she's always giving me seeds of faith and hope to keep going. And she said, if I got, you got. And this is something I told my daughter, the same thing. If I got, you got. And I told her when my daughter was wailing to me the other day, and then I didn't think I would end up having to talk to my mom to get reassurance that everything's going to be okay, even though it's not okay. So I'm not a happy camper. So we all know this, okay? We all know that I had some extreme hardships and things like that, but I don't want to stay there. I don't want to remind myself of the things that caused me all this discomfort, upset, and angry. Oh, angry. Super angry. But I didn't want to be you mad. Oh, you're mad. So, okay. I decided to come back. I decided to come back better than ever. I decided to give myself some time off. I decided that the homeostasis is that I knew that there are signals being from the universe. Either I take this hardship in stride and better myself, or I go ahead and sit there and just fall out, just cry about it, and just, not be happy. So I said to myself, let's talk about how that translates to bulletproof motivation and first and foremost, self-discipline and mastery. So in all of that, I want you guys to understand the first of the year vibe. My vibe was that I want to be positive instead of negative. I didn't want to focus on what's bothering me. I didn't want to give anybody any airtime or airplay for the things that they have done or either caused discomfort and whatnot. So I wanted to tie up loose ends last year and bring in the new year to eliminate last year's distractions and keep it moving. And I think that's more than fair. So with that being said, I figured training like a Navy SEAL means that we have to learn how to deal with stressful circumstances and things like that. And then on top of that, think about our ancestors. They did not have central heating, cooling, and air. They did not have warm baths. They didn't have clean clothes. They didn't have all the things that we have that make us comfortable. Okay? So they lived in their own dirt and feces, ate raw meat, and slept in cold things or cold air or under the stars. So they lived harder than we did. So I had to think about this. What about all the comforts that I have? Look at it like this. Yeah, my AC unit is tampered. Yeah, my computer is tampered. Yeah, my front room computer acts a fool. Yeah, I have certain douchebags that like to play all these nasty games like Marshall and Andre. Yeah, I'm putting Marshall and Andre in their place. Yeah, I'm making sure they understand you got me messed up. You got the right one to play with. Yes, I'm going to humiliate you and I'm going to embarrass you. And I'm going to let people know who are a provocateur and saboteur, provokers and gaslighters who need to stop it. So I finally got to that place where I said, you know what? I want better than what I'm being given and what people are doing me like. So I had to make them a prime example. So today they're my prime example of provocateur and saboteur. So I had to let them know, you got me messed up. So if you ever treat me like a disrespect like you did on my social media like you did before, then I'm going to mop you up and drag you for filth and humble you for filth for all the things that you did to me. So that's who has been irritated, aggravate me, agitate me on a regular basis. So Andre thinks it's funny. So I want to make sure Andre understood. You try me like that ever again, I'm going to mop the floor with you and embarrass and humiliate you. So let that be your last warning. And Marshall, let that be your last warning to be a minion and do dirty work for your nasty, disgusting hand. So hopefully everybody understands how I really feel about Andre and Marshall's nasty behind antics. Maybe that'll help you humble yourself somewhere, because sometimes it takes the right person to humble some people who like to act bad and play dirty. Oh, I need that little laugh. So I figured the best way to do it is to walk into life and feel like I'm doing something good for myself and others. So we think about all of this, and this is habitation. So we think about just like a habitat house. I own a habitat house, okay? So what we have to do and become our baseline of happiness and bulletproof motivation is move past those agents of saboteur and provocateur and hand them their butt. So let that be fair warning. If you ever try me like that again, I'll mop the floor with you in court. And then I'll be laughing all the way to the bank. So B better have my money. So our bodies have adapted to living in warm, soft environments, right? But that's also made a soft behind and a hard head. So a lot of these things, everything is set at the same height as us. And then on top of that, we have physical and psychological stress. But I think as we become more and more acclimated to physical and psychological stress, we've also realized that we have learned to be more comfortable. But the reason why the physical and psychological stress is something that we have to learn to overcome is because we're going to have these hardships, whether we have the conveniences of living in a house, central heating, cooling, air, like mine was tempered. So I had to learn how to live in a house at 91 degrees, 93 degrees, and dang near help, it was hard. So I had to get to a place where I said, you know what, I'm going to tough it out. Even though there's a guy who was like, it's going to be another hot summer, kiki. I was like, you know what? What you're not going to do is rain on my parade, even though things weren't great. And it freaking felt like a thunderstorm came through and just rained on my parade. I promise you, I just felt like, oh God, it was just so sad. So when that happened, I had to learn how to say to myself, this is all good and well, except most of us highly susceptible to any fluctuation. It becomes our norm. So I had a lot of distraction and saboteur and provocateur and things going on. So what did I have to do? I had to say to myself, I'm going to get past all that. I'm going to find a way to innovate and become better at what I do. So in all of that, I decided to go and build myself back better than ever. So in all of that, I had to learn that, with those fluctuations, life is going to have hardships, ups and downs. So I had to say to myself, when we have a level of those psychological or emotional or hardships or inputs, outputs that we cannot control, the locus control, I had to realize all of that. So I said to myself, what is my norm now? What do I have to do? I've normalized being self-disciplined even when I didn't want to do something. So I had to say to myself, I found myself a little bit tired. I felt myself, like the world was coming around and around me and coming apart at the seams. I was like, oh, I'm not okay. So at that point, I had body triggers, major stress response. I had levels and layers of feeling anxious, upset, panicking, and jittery, sometimes confused. Like, what are we doing here? You know? And then there was a level of angry and feeling sluggish, many days where I was too tired to even work, but I kept working through my sleep. I was like, Bueller, Bueller. I was tired. So I said to myself, BWA, out of kicked up. I had to do like Kevin Gates, right? I step out style like him. He's got a cute voice. But I was like, BWA, out of kicked up. And I did. So there was a point where I had to sit there and say, do I want to be in the breadwinners section or do I want to be a failure? So I chose to be an honorary breadwinners association member. Okay. So I said to myself, you're supposed to shine. You got to do what you got to do, whether it's good, the bad, the ugly. I took this song that I absolutely love, and it's called You're Supposed to Shine by Kevin Gates. And I really started playing it when I was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I really had to get down with the get down and learn how to shine no matter what I was going through, the good, the bad, the ugly. So music is where my heart speaks. I naturally come from a musician family. I come from a family of industry, non-musicians, actors, actresses, and things like that, boxers, all kind of stuff, even basketball. So I have an amazing family. I just don't tell you guys about them because they get on my nerves just like anybody else. But I'm not here to embarrass them. But I want you guys to understand that I've got a strong family, although sometimes dysfunctional, functionally dysfunctional. We have generational military family as well. So shouts out to the military family, shouts out to industry family, and shouts out to everybody that's built me and made me who I am. So you guys know I done dragged my family to filth and back, but that's okay. I can do that. Y'all can't. All right? Know that. But even at that, I have learned that my family is what keeps me together. My family, although perfectly imperfect, is my family. So I'm not responsible for them, but sometimes they do the most. And I'd be like, look, man, y'all got me messed up. you know? So there's times like that. It's like that because I have to laugh and freaking cry with them too. All right. And there's times where they just make me want to, there's a song by Jackson, You Make Me Want to Scream. There are times where I sat there and I looked at them and I was like, and they made me like that. All right. So we know but my family made me. So when I talk to my mother and things like that, and she re-encouraged me, you're going to be fine. It's okay to ask for help. It is okay. I'm here. And, I stopped crying. I had to sit there and say, what am I sniveling starting for? I'm going to be okay. I don't cry like this. This ain't me. What are you worried about? I had to say to myself, stop worrying. Get your mind right. You got a raging headache. You'll be all right. Suck it up, Susie. You'll be all right. Just strap up your boots, get to walking, get self-discipline, and make it happen. So I had to laugh to keep from crying, okay? So I figured you guys would understand from being bulletproof motivated and learning how to move past everything. It's not easy, all right? So again, I'm highly susceptible to a lot of things because I am autistic high functioning. I had to learn how to work past my quirks, all right? And we all know I got a lot of them, all right? Okay? But I'm a special edition and you've got to love me. I told you so, okay? I'm the baby, everybody loves me, all right? And I'm spoiled. I can't help it. So, well, that makes me highly susceptible to a lot of BS, all right? And a lot of people, they either like me or they hate me. So, in one way or the other, deal with it, all right? So, when I think about all the stress responses and feeling anxious and upset, and sometimes I was like, I don't want to do this, I quit. I said to myself, what are you doing, girl? Don't quit. I said to myself, because the military knows that its infantry won't always have the luxury of a good night's sleep. It needs to train them to those conditions, right? So I had to think like a soldier. Out of the many a days and many a years of sleep deprivation, dang near torment, torture, and just god awful, just like, I hate it here. So there was a day where I said, likewise, the Spartans back in Greek mythology, they used to pull up bunches of grass with their bare hands. It didn't train their reflexes or muscles, but it also trained their grit, their determination to sleep better and literally be comfortable even in an uncomfortable situation. So their psychological endurance was getting better. So what do you think happened with me? I had to learn that they became habituated to being cold and being dirty and then being tired. Likewise, soldiers learn how to perform on less sleep, just like I did, even though I'm not a soldier, right? But I had to be a no-limit soldier. I thought I told you. I hate it here. But even at that, I learned how to soldier on and move past all the hard stuff. Okay. So then I guess life said, you know what? You already learned how to deal with F boys and F girls. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to learn how to deal with NARC. Oh, only at NARC Mart. So at this moment, I'm like, okay, life. So you said I could go deal with F boys and F girls, people that were friends, frenemies, and who needs enemies if you got friends like that, right? So I sat there and said to myself, hey, this ain't Hilarion. This sucks. So I said to myself, you got to laugh to keep crying. Pull the good stuff out of the hardship. Pull the worst of the worst out of it and say, what is the lesson? Where do I find self-discipline and mastery? So I thought about all of this. And at the same time, when life got even harder, I said, you know what? Get up, get out, do something. Don't let the world pass you by. It's okay. If you bit the hand that fed you and meant you nothing but good, I was here to heal some people. But if you bit the head that fed you and I was here to heal you, and you decide to bite the hand that fed you, then deal with it. So guess what? I'll see you later. Don't come back. We're good. You go on about your business. I'll go about my way. I'm nothing to you, and I wish you whatever you deserve. And most of that is nothing. So I said to myself, that's part of that. How would I be able to cope? So I'll tell you what you can do. We're going to do some tips and tricks, and then we're going to go over a couple of different things to help you. So what can you do? Try intermittent fasting. Try to put yourself in a situation where you might be hungry. All right. You might be thinking, okay, I want to eat right now, but I got to get something done. Try to see how far you can get things done before your stomach starts growling, you get angry, you get a little angry. We all know how I get when I'm angry. Not very nice. So when we think about this, we get a little tired. So we think about likewise, soldiers learn how to perform on less sleep and less to eat. So when we think about this, try to train on a suboptimal sleep. Try to find a way of you being in a discomfort, uncomfortable situation. Try to train yourself past hardship or manufactured hardships like I did. So when we think about all these different things, it helps us to learn better, do better, and also to keep a better momentum mentally. So we think about taking cold showers forces us to endure that cold for increasingly long amount of time. So sometimes switch your shower to cold water so you can help you to wake up, get yourself up and alert. Because if you ever think about it, have you ever had somebody throw some cold water at you or cold water on you and you're like, oh, it gets you to that place where you learn how to be alert. So sometimes splashing cold water on your face, it doesn't mean go douse yourself to the point that you end up drowning like you don't have to do all that. But you have to get to a place where you get yourself alert and you're ready and you're on standby and on ready like that. Keep going. So when we think about traveling, you have to think about traveling packing light or making sure you're already prepared and ready to go at a moment's notice. So we have to think about taking ultra marathons, endurance and sports and things like that, and tough guy events. Sometimes challenge yourself to do something you've never done before. So I had always been spoiled, and everything was kind of sort of like the world wasn't that bad until I got out there and became an adult. You see my face? That's my pouty face. So I sat there and I said to myself, I have to go. What do you mean? Wife, you tried it. So at that point, I said to myself, I want better for myself. I do not want to be dependent on anybody. I don't want to be codependent on anybody. So I took that time, that space to sit there and say to myself, what am I trying to do? So just one moment. We're going to take a quick interlude and a quick interlude break just because I want to make sure that we have time for everybody to have gotten in here, and I'm going to open up the phone lines. So give me just one moment. like I said, take some time for a second, keep the pen to paper, and everything else so that we can get everything done, all right? So we're going to go into what is self-discipline anyway. So like I told you guys, we're going to be doing module 1 and 2. So we've already gone into training like a Navy SEAL. But what we're going to do is self-discipline. And what is that? So that's the second part of the tips and tricks, all right? All right. So, what is self discipline anyway? Good question. Self discipline is something that I prefer to be a level of definition, okay? And this was supplied by American philosopher and writer Albert Hubbard. What I want you guys to understand is Albert Hubbard is someone that's ability to do what you have to do when you don't even want to do it, but you do it anyway, whether you feel like it or not. And the reason why it's so important to have this is that self-discipline helps us to become mindful, masterful, and bulletproof motivated. And part of that is because it is necessary for an integral part of making things happen. So when I tell you guys bulletproof motivation starts with self-discipline, what is self-discipline anyway? Good question. And that's why we're going to talk about it. So self-discipline is crucial to life. That enables you to succeed in anything that you do. It also, again, is not necessarily having to do with money all the time. Sometimes it's all about mindset. I am illuminated abundance mindset. And with that being said, we have to learn how to go move through hardships. So that's why I wanted to train you guys to think like a Navy SEAL. A Navy SEAL or recon or Army Ranger and things like that. Because those people have the hardest job in the military. A lot of these people have to deal with things that they can't even talk about. A lot of times they have to go and mentally be tough, even when they want to break down. That's not the easiest thing to do. But because they go into discomfort training, it allows them to become uncomfortable and getting used to be uncomfortable and hardships and things like that so they can power through it. So that's what makes them mentally tough and made tough to get out there and defend against enemies, foreign and domestic. So as you probably know, you're like most Americans, losing weight's no joke. Getting the job done is no joke. Going through hardships is no joke. COVID has thrown us all for a loop. That's no joke and no laughing matter. Because I promise you, I was like, I'm not okay. Woo! COVID. I didn't like it. So I said to myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shots. I'm going to get everything done so that I don't end up with COVID. All right? I don't want your heebie-jeebies. So go get tested, everybody. All right? Follow the hygiene protocols and the CDC protocols and your local politicians and managers and leaders, things that they tell you to do, okay? So let's sure we do all that. All right? So a round of applause for all the politicians and leaders and managers in the cities, citywide, Florida, Georgia, all of the different places. And hardships can involve our relationships. Hardships can involve our relationships. They can also give a level of health issues and problems. COVID has caused us a lot of issues and problems, and most of us have been through things that we never thought would happen to us. So a lot of us have lost family members and people to COVID and things like that. So that's why I urge you guys to go get your COVID testing and do what you're supposed to do. You can get those tests at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and other such places that have them. So make sure you go get your test. They got at-home tests as well. So that's why I also have the levels of things that you can get here and things to help you guys, to help you have hygiene things that you're supposed to do during COVID. So let me show you guys that right quick. Give me just one moment. Technical difficulties. There we go. So take a second to make sure you guys understand how your COVID protocol, wear a mask, wash your hands, do all the different things that they ask you to do. And if you end up with COVID, how to take care of yourself. It's just that simple. So again, get your COVID testing and do that. The sooner that we get this done, the less we have to be on lockdown, things like that, and wear your mask, okay? So that's the shameless plug about COVID. All right. So when we think about hardships and things like that, that involves our relationship or even ending relationships that were toxic, not happy, or are non-conducive or causing creating problems and issues for us. So I'm one of those people who went through that. We all know that, so I'm not going to talk about that either. And it also affected my health, so that's no laughing matter. Self-discipline is also crucial, as you already know. Like most Americans, we do not eat right, we don't sleep right, we don't live right, and we don't always take care of ourselves until something like this reminds us that we need to do better. So we think about we chomp down on a burger, we eat some fried chicken, or we end up having things that are not disciplined foods, right? Like eating healthy salads and eating healthy foods, or making sure we have the food groups and things like that, diet, exercise, all the things that help us to become more disciplined and more masterful and more mindful, and also help our body to repair itself when we're going through things like this, right? So self discipline enables us to focus. So when you're self disciplined, you learn how to focus and train your priorities into your thoughts and things like that. And also, you decide to focus on your goals. Also, speaking of that, I'm going to also open up the floor for you guys to come on live and things like that. So give me just one moment to put that out there for you guys. It'll be in the comment stream for you guys. So anybody that wants to come on, as long as you authenticate your account, you're good to go. Don't come on here trolling me. I will boot you and I will block you. Also, self-discipline means focusing. Just like I focus every day to present a better and better show. I'm making sure that I do everything for you guys to possibly get some good tips and tricks and things like that. And again, just as a reminder, make sure you guys write things down like I asked you to. So it's not that hard. So let me give you some tips and tricks in just a moment so that you guys understand how to deal with all that. So drum roll, please. You have to learn that we have to be able to do what we can, when we can, how we can, and the best we can. We also have to earn and learn and things like that. What I mean by earn and learn is focusing on training on your priorities and self-discipline. You decide on your goals and prioritize what's more important to you and things like that from a day-to-day basis. We also do this because it helps us to continue to be mindful, masterful, and it also allows us to do other things that are recurring in our life. That includes work, it includes school, it includes all the different things that we do to meet or exceed our goals or to get to where we want to get at. So there is a consistent focus. You're not spinning your wheels or chasing your tail. So also there's a point in your day that you, because you're in the back of your mind, you say to yourself, you're inching one step closer to a grand accomplishment and becoming more masterful, mindful, and motivated to get to where you want to get, even through hardship. So that requires training. It also requires the ability to say no to shallow temptations, shortcuts, or those that distract us or are distraction agents. There's also plenty of things to those that facts and things like that. And there are too many things in this world that can distract us and keep us off our mark. So instead, we choose to focus on the big picture and take care of things that are more important to us. Part of that is you need to focus on every action, take every day that you spend to bring you closer to those desired outcomes. Part of that is to know that it doesn't mean that your journey is going to go faster, but it means the process will become easier for you to deal with, even with hardship or snafus or kerfuffles. So that doesn't mean that our journey is going to be any smoother every day, but it means the recovery process, the mindful mastery process, and the coping process becomes easier. And it's interesting enough, if you are disciplined, you find it to solve problems and overcome what are your setbacks or hardships or things like that as they may appear. And they don't knock you out. They don't make you quit. They don't make you want to say, oh, I quit. And then on top of that, you begin to look at it like this, oh, I'm going to keep going instead. And then they don't rob you of your resolve to keep going. So hardships can make us feel that type of way, okay? It just makes us feel like somebody just totally popped the balloon and then it's like, oh, take it. Okay? So at that moment, we have to say, we don't do any of that. We learn instead to find it to one foot in front of the other, just like a soldier's on. We learn how to have all this and not feel like the world's conspiring against us or people are working against us. There are some days where we have people who are saboteur, provocateur agents, and that does not mean federal agents or cops. It means just everyday people who get on our last darn nerve. So we have to learn to overcome those setbacks or provocateur, saboteur, or people who create distractions in our life. We also learn that we find out we put one foot in front of the other, and we must go on whether we want to. That's self-discipline. It's not sexy. It's not overly dramatic, but it's something. It's not in the movies and things like that. It's not like you're going to get some fairy tale ending. You just have to remember there's all sorts of thrills, chills, and sometimes spills along the way. But no, one thing you don't do is quit. All right? You learn that in most cases, a personal journey of self-discipline involves the same thing over and over again, and it also a temptation from one after the other. But those are distraction agents or things what we call inputs, outputs, like I told you. And then you find a why. In other words, you have to find the purpose in all that. And why did this happen? Where do I look at this hardship? Or why did this happen? Or why are you in my life? Why are you creating these problems? You're just a distraction or a nuisance. So, like the technology facilitated abuses that I went through, I learned that there's a lot of people who just don't want to see me shine because it makes them look like who they are. So at the end of the day, I said to myself, I'm nothing you. I no longer give you clout. I no longer mention your name because you're nothing to me. So I don't think anybody's beneath me, but I think the actions are beneath me. So I said to myself, how do I want to rise up? How do I want to rise past this? And how do I want to become better at what I do and ignore all the distractions? It's not been easy because it's constant all the time. I know who's doing it. So at this point in time, that's why I dragged them to the field earlier. Oh, yeah. Rotten little stinker. So I had to laugh about it and say to myself, you know what? Let me move past this. I got better things to do. All right. So self-discipline isn't as hard as you think. It's actually not difficult as most people assume. So with that, I'm not saying that it's easy, but what's important to understand there are two phases and things like that. So we went over those phases yesterday. So we're going to get into module 2. Part of that is that we have to learn a level of how to be self-disciplined using 7 key techniques. So this is where you guys need to start writing things down, okay? So in this module, I'm going to give you the levels of 7 techniques that you're going to learn from this series. Part of it is to enable you to become more self-disciplined, mindful, masterful. And these techniques are laid out in chronological order, okay? So if you're looking for a ground-breaking technique and things like that, you're going to have to think to yourself, you're going to be sorely disappointed and you're going to be upset, all right? So I'm not trying to disappoint you and I'm not trying to upset you, but it's basic. So there are basic things that you would think that are common sense, but a lot of people fail to realize it's part of self-discipline and mastery and being mindful. That's why they're so powerful. And they're common everyday techniques. So I wanted to make it simple and keep it simple, the KISS method, all right? The problem is people don't put them together, much less commit to them. That's part of it. So they think that it's so easy, but they don't even bother to try. That's part of why we have hardships in our life. If you don't bother to apply self-discipline, mindfulness, and being present and being masterful and mindful in that, or learning how to have success rituals and success agendas, then you will fail, okay? It's not anything other than that. You will epically fail if you don't apply these basic rules of thumb, all right? So the good news is that the more you do these and stick to them, the easier it is in succeeding in success formula, success rituals, success formula, agenda, and also success mindset. And I am illuminated abundance mindset. So it does help you to become more mindful, self-disciplined, and masterful if you learn these techniques. So technique 1, identify your goals. It does not mean ID, like ID channel. It means identify your goals. Identify what you need. Identify what you want. Identify your purpose. If you don't know what you're shooting for, then don't be surprised if you end up shooting yourself in the foot. That was slick, wasn't it? So when we think about this, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, but you want to prepare to backup plan for the temptations that arise to get you distracted, okay? Then technique 2, don't get caught flat-footed. The worst thing you can be is slew-footed, flat-footed in the military, okay? That's the reason why you have to have arch support, because you have to walk long and track and do humps, right? So military hump sucks, all right? It's not something you want. When you have to PT, you have to be on your feet, all right? And you have to be up and at them. So we all know that. So the temptation is, I don't want to work out, I don't want to PT. But when it comes to having to do your checkups and things like that to see if you're physically fit and you got your inches and things like that, your BMI, body mass index, and then you're a little bit over and then you got to PT some more, right? So it kind of sucks, right? So at that point in time, you realize you got to hoof it and you got to go and get on that military diet, lose that weight, and then weigh in again, right? So you won't have to do extra PT. It kind of sucks. So when you think about that, you don't want to get caught flat-footed. It's the same thing in real life. You have to say to yourself, a little bit of advanced preparation goes a long way. A little bit of exercise, a little bit of eating right, a little bit of doing what you need to do to overcome temptation. Because it's just like the soldiers. You think they can eat like they want to all the time? No. They know that they have to be in their best shape to be on point and on ready and on demand. Have their gunny sack ready and ready to hump and do what they got to do. So you can't go around there eating donuts. You can't go around there eating all kind of junk food and think that you're going to stay thin. It doesn't work like that, okay? And you don't want your gunnery sergeant or sergeant major in your face like, oh, you're fat. You got to lose weight. And you're like, okay, really? All right. You can't say your breath stinks. I'll let you be like, oh. You can't do that in the military, y'all. You literally have to be on point and keep your face straight and do what you're supposed to do. Straight or fly right, soldier. All right. Hi, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So at that point, I think about all the things my sister went through, okay? So I listened to all the stories and things like that. So I wanted to make sure you guys got a laugh or two. So we have to learn technique 3. That's motivation daily, all right? So we have to learn that it's not easy, but these 3 techniques of preparing a backup plan, finding your motivation daily, and then on top of that, technique 1, identifying your goal. So once you do all of those 3 techniques and you start to make a repetition, that is your basic success formula and your basic success ritual, because rituals are normal, all right? We all go through rituals. I've been through rituals. It's normal, all right? We all have our agenda to get up and be self-disciplined, mindful, and masterful. So it's easy for people to dismiss this, but these are the key factors that keep us in the area or place that we're at if we're not disciplined. And what discipline does is helps us to become bulletproof motivated, all right? So I'm moving to bulletproof motivation. I ain't trying to not be disciplined. I want to be disciplined because I have to tame myself to be disciplined because I'm naturally a wild child. We all know that. We've all seen me show my rear end on YouTube. And I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But in that, we have to say that's not enough, okay? We have to say to ourselves, start looking at this as a chore or something we do every day. So I had to say to myself, do I want to straighten up, fly right? Do I want my brand to be better than ever with the power to do more with Talk Radio Diva? Of course. So I said to myself, give myself a round of applause. I had to start saying to myself, girl, get up, get out and do something. Cheer yourself on. Cheer up and do better. So it looks like this little light of mine, I let it shine. So I did. My Will Smith impression sucks, but oh well. But it was funny because I thought about the sunflowers. My mommy had sunflowers in her garden, right? And I used to love stealing the seeds and stuff like that. But mom made me spit them out. She's like, "Bleh." I was like, oh, what? I can't eat them like that. She's like, no, you got to cook them. I said, oh, crap. So I can't eat raw seeds. She's like, no, it's going to make you sick. So she cooked the seeds. So I sat down there, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. So my mom shit the light and she also cooked my seeds and I ate them. I sure did. And they sure was good. So I figured I would go back in time, back when I used to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I remember when he was trying to graduate, right? And he had to go and sit up there and do that play where he's dressed up like a little sunflower and he had his tights on. And then he had to go and do this little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine, right? So I decided I was going to do my little Will Smith impression and it kind of sucked. At least I just sounded like Don't Look Wow thing. You know, and so at least something better than nothing, okay? Just give me a little break here. So when we think about all of these different things, I wanted to make sure you guys understood that being self-disciplined and being a life coach, I want to make this fun for you guys. So technique 4, turn self-discipline into a habit. So I did. So I figured, I said, I'm going to get into the illuminated I am abundance mindset, and I'm going to train myself even when I had hardships, even when I had technical difficulties, even when I wanted to be like, you know what? Beep, beep, beep. I said, I'm done. I'm done fussing and cussing. because it's affecting my brand. So I said to myself, turn self-discipline into a habit, learn how to train yourself to ignore a lot of stuff. So I did for 6 to 8 months. It was horrible. I had signal tampering. I had everything, you name it that could piss somebody off. And it was intentional. And there were some people, I'm going to have to mop the floor with them and some dust bunnies across that courtroom floor to tell them, look, I told you to quit.
Ow!
I told you to leave me alone.
Ow!
So, with that being said, I learned that eventually you will reach a point of self-discipline and it becomes part of your daily routine. It did. So this is key to get there. And the biggest challenge is because you're right on the spot and you're at that point where you're put on the spot or you're having all kind of hardships and difficulties, I learned it's easy to develop a new habit. Part of it was to stop fussing and cussing so much. It was not easy because I was in survival mode. So I had to go from survival mode to thrival mode. And I decided I want to thrive. I want my presentation for 2022 to be good. I want it to be in a good space, mentally, emotionally. So I hid in the bushes a couple of times. I caught some of the stuff. I was like, oh, so you're the one who's been doing all this. All right. I told you to quit.
Ow!
So when I dragged them to the field, I said to myself, you know what? I don't want to keep dragging y'all. I nothing y'all. Because you got to be doing something right. If you got provocateur, saboteur going on, you got to be really good at what you do for people to keep on trying to stop you and what you're trying to do. Train to never quit. Train like the Navy SEAL. So I did. So I sat down and said to myself, get enough sleep. I said to myself, there's a lot of my mental reservations that have been given away free of charge and letting people rent-free airspace in my head. So I said to myself, you know what? Let me remove you all and nothing new. Let me go and continue to be mindful, masterful, and let me keep moving forward, even though I was having this hardship. So after that, I said to myself, you're not sleeping like you're supposed to. You're traumatized, you're upset, you got a lot of PTSD going on. My doctor said the same exact thing. But my doctor said, but you're committed to being therapeutic, and you can be therapeutic. You just went through a lot of trauma. You went through so much battery, emotional, physical, financial, economic. It's a lot. It's okay not to be okay. But the fact that you're here saying you want to be committed to be mindful and purposeful of what you're doing, and then also so you don't take it out on anybody, shows your commitment to being the best that you can be and the better version of yourself and being mindful, masterful. And I said to myself, you know what? I deserve a round of applause. I deserve to be my own cheerleader. I deserve to be happy. And I said to myself, I don't deserve what happened to me, but I don't have to react to it the same way. So I said to myself, in all of that, am I getting 8 full hours of sleep? Am I getting at least 6 hours? No. So I said to myself, whether I'm tired or not, or I don't feel tired, I'm going to learn to go to sleep because I've been on autopilot so long. So with that, I had to learn the 8 hours of sleep that I'm being deprived and I'm being provoked, I'm being gaslit, I'm being terrorized in my own house, American Horror Story levels of things that were going on that would disturb my sleep, messing with my front door, doing all the psycho mess, church dead. I was like, you kill weed. I'm going to still go to sleep. I'm going to secure and batten down the hatches and I'm going to sleep. I'm going to stop crying. I'm not going to wake up with my fist clenched. I'm not going to wake up on battle mode already. Okay. I'm going to wake up okay and peaceful and not looking crazy like Marmaduke. I'm going to get up and start doing my hair like I used to. I'm going to start looking better than I did. I'm not going to look like I did last year. I'm not going to go and get up and be in my bonnet anymore, although I look nice. Oh. But we all know that I don't worry about my bonnet. I still look all right, even though I look like Marmaduke. But it's okay. But at that point, I said to myself, the sixth technique, fill your mind with positive thoughts. So I did. So I said to myself, it turns out that our thoughts are directly impacting our daily reality. Even though my harsh reality was like, there's some things that are really going on. There's a lot of distraction agent and provocateur and saboteur that's going on. But do I want to keep staying there? No. I said to myself, be mindful, CC. It's not going to be easy every day. There are going to be some things that are going to happen that you cannot control. So I had to gain my mind and my focus and be positive with my thoughts, whether or not I was going through things. I'm going through it right now. You just don't see it. It turns out that I said to myself, the impact of all of this is make yourself tough, for tough, made tough, and mentally tough. But move like a Kia, move like a Hyundai. Move like all those quiet cars overseas from Japan, Korea, and things like that. Move stealth. Move in such a manner that you move and don't miss your target. You hit your mark. You make sure your all-seeing eyes always open. And with the foundation of bricks that are thrown at you, build a pyramid on that foundation of bricks and stand on top of it. And say to yourself, improve your health, your mental health, your emotional health, your behavioral health, your reaction. Do everything you can to be better than what you were. So I committed to that for a full year, although my presentations were getting messed up all the time from all the signal tampering, the network tampering, the Wi-Fi tampering, all the different things, the router tampering. I learned to get past it. I even dealt with the troll farm. I learned to get past that too. Because I said, you know what? If somebody's doing all that, they're just nothing more than a bully. They're nothing more than a saboteur provocateur agent. Power through it. So I did for a whole year. You guys see me go power through all of that on top of that and still do my presentations. A lot of those are going to come down because I can use some of those clips for some presentation teaching. But the thing is, I don't want you guys seeing me in my worst moments. I want you guys to see me in my best moments here, like you see this year. I want you guys to see all of these different things and the hardship I went through at that time. That's why I left them up there. But I said to myself, I want to take those down because this is the start to a new year. And then I want to be able to have a better year and build back better than ever, like the Build Back Better agenda. I'm committed to listening to what Joe Biden has said. And that's one of the things I want you guys to hear. Is that speech made me think, even though I didn't want to get up every day, even though there was days where I was like, I quit, I don't want to do this, I had to trust that somebody knows what they're doing. I had to put faith in my president, okay? I had to put faith in my vice president, that they can build back this country and show us that we can all heal. So seeing that speech made me feel better. So I want to come here today and remind you guys as a civilian that my commitment, my oath means a lot to me. The soul of the nation's on the line. And my soul has been on the line because I felt like a lost soul forever. I did, but my soul is coming back to me. It's restoring. But I wanted to feel that way and believe it. I wanted to trust in the process. I wanted to trust in the COVID process and trust in the levels of hardship process and the I am illuminated abundance mindset process and put that together and say to myself, I trust that I can heal. It's just not right now. I trust that I'm going to cope and continue to become better than I have been before. I trust that I can become more graceful, more mindful. I trust that my presentations will be less stumbling blocks. I trust that I can overcome. So part of that was looking at First Lady Michelle Obama and First Lady Joe Biden and look at all the things that they went through. And their marriages weren't perfect, but one thing about it, they became the epic ladies and the, well, lack of a better word, badass ladies that we see today. So we look at the Kamala Harrises of the world. We look at that one day, hopefully so works, I'll be able to sit there and look at her and see somebody I can look up to and say, she looks like me. She looks like somebody I want to be like one day. But the thing is, do you think Kamala Harris didn't go through hardships? Do you think she didn't go through things that were designed to kill her, harm her? No, she did. Do you think Dr. Joe Biden went through hardships and things like that were designed to hurt her? Yeah, of course. Do you think Michelle Obama, with her master's degrees and I think PhD, do you think that that was easy for her to get, being a black woman out there trying to achieve things? It's not easy. But what they motivate me to do is to continue to be mindful, improve my argument. What they motivated me to do is do what I'm doing now, teaching, talking, and motivating. Because there's somebody out there whose candle got blown out. There's somebody who went out there and lost a lot. There's somebody who's living harder than me. There's somebody who doesn't have a roof over their head. There's somebody who doesn't have family. There's somebody who doesn't have food to eat. So I have to say to myself, girl, stop your crying. Stop your sniveling and snotting. Besides, you don't look cute when you do it. And I don't like having boogers. I don't like being a boogered up. It's kind of nasty. Ew. So, last but not least, this tip. Surround yourself with self-disciplined people. So, we have 7 tips that you guys learned. And as I mentioned previously, it's like it's hard to soar like an eagle when you're surrounded with turkeys, right? Turkey neck. I really got my mother's personality traits for real. I got it together. Okay. Yeah. So when we think about all of this, there's a lot of turkeys, okay? Some jive turkeys. And I can't stand them. The birds of feather flock together. But I figured I want to fly like an eagle. Okay. So I had the war eagle on everybody and come down and be like, oh, I'm flying. All right. Okay. So I had to, well, my homegirl calls me Bird. Okay. So let me tell you this last story before I leave this live. Okay. I told you it's going to be underneath an hour. So we're at an hour mark. Literally, my homegirl called me Bird. I said, don't call me no bird ass female. I went off on her because I said, I ain't no bird. I ain't no chicken head. You know, I felt some type of way because I was like, girl, if you call me a bird again, I'm going to hurt you. I thought you called me a chicken head. How dare you? So at that very moment, she said, no, girl. Girl, for the grammar Nazis, okay? And she said, no, girl. And I said, okay. I said, so what are you trying to say? She said, you're like a bird. You're always doing something. You're always flying around doing your thing. And you remind me of an eagle, a bird. And I thought about when I went past, it's called, it's the military installation when you go in Georgia, right? So I remember the name. Oh my God, y'all. It is West Point. Yeah, I remember West Point. There it is. So I had me a get. Oh, I forgot all, folks. So I went past West Point, right? And I thought about this when I had wanted to join the Navy. All right. So when I drove past West Point, I saw some eagles. And this is the last but not least. Those eagles were flying. And recently I saw some eagles. It was the mommy, the daddy, and the baby. And I thought to myself, I had to war eagle on people and show them what I was made of. So as the mommy eagle, one day I'll find a daddy eagle that will be with my baby and make sure he's the grand protector. Until then, I'm a mommy eagle and I'm flying and I have to war eagle all the time and make sure I take care of my baby. All right. So long story short, I went off with my homegirl for nothing. She just said, Bird, you're always like that. You're always out there flying and things like that. And y'all, I miss home a lot. So I was thinking about that. And that was one of the most amazing things because I remember going off on her. I was like, I ain't no bird ass female. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willie? But when she gave me that little nickname, just like my other homegirl gave me Cece, I said, you know what? I'll be Cece and sometimes Bird when I do things and whatnot and getting around, taking flight and taking off. So I decided that I'm going to catch the plane to self-discipline and mastery. So let's take off, you guys. Let's fly like some eagles. So, like I said, birds of feather flock together. So all I need is a team of eagles that want to fly right and do what we got to do. And we're going to war eagle on this year. We're going to make it through COVID. We're going to make it through hardships. And we're going to do what we're born and bred to do. And that's fly like an eagle. And we're going to make things happen. And if you want to be what we call a turkey, then you can be a jive turkey by yourself. So that's it, folks. That's all I got for you today. That's the end of the show. We're going to go over some things and then we're done, okay? Also, let me make sure that you guys know about Miss Valerie Robertson. And I want to make sure that you guys help her out a bit. So Valerie Robertson is a person who ended up on life support and whatnot. She actually has been taken off life support. She's breathing on her own from what I heard. So make sure you guys hit her cash out, Valerie Robertson. And that's Valerie, and that's VALERIE Robertson. And please lift her up in prayer and help to pay for her medical bills and any rehabilitation costs. And make sure you guys hit her cash out. Make sure she's able to build back better once she's able to walk and talk on her own and things like that. Also, I want to make sure that you guys understand that you guys need to lift her up in prayer. And again, I'll put it on the screen here bigger for you guys to see. Valerie Robertson, please lift her up in prayer and help her pay for her medical bills and any rehabilitation costs. Next on the agenda to talk about Fashionista Printables. If you guys need anything from Fashionista Printables, you're more than welcome to book and get those different things from me. So here's what we offer. Fashionista Printables offers pre-made banners, toolkits, and things like that. Pre-made kits make it easy for you guys to have your YouTube banners and also things that will be on the Etsy store. Your templates are preloaded with relevant content needed for you to brand out, brand up, and rise up and do what you need to do. And make professional banners yourself in several different niches and things like that. So that is this link to check out. I'll give you that link to also buy, and that will be on my Twitter, my Facebook, my YouTube, my Twitch, and things like that. I'll put that in the community link and tabs for you guys to get so you can purchase different things. All right. Also, I have templates for you guys to be able to get different things for marketing videos and also preloaded marketing videos already done for you to make professional videos without much hassle, tailored for specific target markets. So, and those are the price points, things like that for you guys to get those type of different things. So those are the already pre-made things that I have for sale right now. I'll put the links out there for you guys to buy them. And there's different ones that come out and whatnot. Also, taking courses on Coursera. I have one for Don Diva Enterprises that you're allowed to do. So you're more than welcome to take those and whatnot. You can also get it at Team World Online for Children. So you guys can go there, teamworld.coursera.com and whatnot. So you'll be able to do all of that. That's the online academy, training guides and courses. And you're more than welcome to inquire if you have any questions or comments or concerns. There's the same thing with IMCC coaching and as well as Don Diva coaching. So like I told you guys, this is important. And then on top of that, Valerie Robertson. So I want to make sure you guys got that here at the bottom for you guys to see. And a couple more other things and whatnot. I want you guys to see the quality of some of the things that I have made already. Those are things that I actually have and done. So, like I told you guys, I make these videos on purpose for you guys to enjoy and have a good time and be able to see everything. The reason why I have it set like that is so you can't steal it. So I will put your company name on there anytime I have anything that I do videos for. These are all for you guys to see, product and mock-ups and things like that, for you guys to understand how important it is for you guys to be able to showcase your products and things like that. If you want those services, then you will come to me and things like that. I'll show you another one. And we also specialize in people who are in churches and things like that. We have all types of different things. I'll show you an example of that. So if you were a church, you'll be like the Church of Christ. They'll be in your company name section. So I want to show you guys an example of mock-ups and things like that I do. So you guys can pay for those different type of commercials and abilities to have the same type of quality that I showed. So that you guys can understand you only fail when you stop trying. So I wanted to end it on that note. So hopefully you guys really, really enjoy all these different things. If you need things done, you may go to actually the YouTube, and I'll give you my Fashionista Printables YouTube. So you'll be able to see different things like this online. I'll put this in the comment string for you guys to check it out. It'll be just up there in just a second, y'all. So you'll see that right there, and you can go to my YouTube for that. All right. And I'll put it in here for the graphics packages and things like that. If you need any graphics packages and you have any requests, you may send it over here. And that is the CC at dondivamarketing.com. And if you have any things that you need quotes on, you'll be able to do that. So you're more than welcome to actually hit me up and let me know what you need or want, and then I'll give you the right quote. And if you need any files or things like that, you'll be getting a flash disk drive and download and things like that. You just pay extra for that. Okay. And this is where you'll confirm your payment and things like that. And then your file will be sent by email. Otherwise, it will be a download for a flash disk drive that you'll get. But more than likely, it will be by email. Like I told you guys, I prefer you guys confirm your email. So this is where you send it and send your things. Or should I see it here? It'll be just a moment, y'all. Okay, so you can hit me up and things like that and email me and all of that. And last but not least, we got one more thing, Enterprise PLR. I wanted to discuss that with you guys. If you guys need any type of content on YouTube and you are kind of spinning your wheels and things like that, you are more than welcome to buy from Enterprise PLR. And that is where you can get the content, and I will send you a whole entire file, and you will be able to get anything for your presentations, so you can put your own stuff together. Or if you need me to do it, let me know. I'm more than willing to do that for you. And just one moment, I'll put that on the screen for you guys. Okay, so the PRLR books are offered mega packs, bundles, business, finance, law, personal development, health, mind, body, spirit, even resources for education, romance, all kind of different things, food and drink, entertainment. So we have a lot to choose from. So you may go to enterpriseplr.com. And last but not least, our sessions and things like that. You can purchase 6 sessions, one-to-one coaching consults. You could do $75 a month, or you could do over a period of 6 months, $75 every month until the 6 months is up. That's $450. Or you could do the other one, which is a lot better for you, which you'll do a whole 12-month sessions, but you'll only be paying for 10. So you'll pay $120 and you'll get 10 sessions plus 2 free. And that is 10 sessions, one-to-one consult, 10 payments of $120, and then you will get 2 free sessions. So you get a total of 12 months with me. Okay. And this is for businesses in civilians and non-civilian sector, and small to mid-level and upper size business and things like that. Okay. So again, make sure you guys hit Valerie's Cash App and whatnot. So that's Valerie Robertson. Make sure you hit her Cash App and please lift her up in prayer and to help her pay for medical bills or any rehabilitation costs while she's going through things in her hardship. So this is our example to reach out and give to someone in need. So let's make sure that we get to Miss Val. Okay. So that's it, you guys. I wanted to make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And a couple more things before we leave. Let's ask ourselves a couple questions. What did you learn from today? And what else do you need to do in order to reach your goal? What choices do you need to make to achieve your goal? What are your 3 biggest priorities for the rest of this year? And what are your goals that you need to do to still inspire yourself? And what might need to change? And last but not least, in the community link, questions that we're going to ask. Tell me how you plan to follow these tips and tricks that we said today. And then tell me in the community tab what you learned and I may feature your response. And we're going to do a like, share, and subscribe train. And what do you need to do to be able to get yourself to a better, illuminated, I am abundance mindset? And then those who do respond, enter the hashtag giveaway, I am somebody, pound I am or I am hashtag giveaway. And make sure the date word today is I am motivated. So make sure you put it in there when you go and hit the community link and questions and whatnot. I'll have that posted today for you guys to answer those questions. So, like I told you guys, I believe in hard work and it pays off. And I believe in self-discipline and mastery. So this is the show for today. Take care. And it's a quick interlude break for you guys to sit back and relax and listen to some music while I get some things on the screen, okay? Okay, so I want to tell you guys a quick goodbye and things like that. I want to thank you guys for being valued viewers. I look forward to more excellent subscribers and viewership like you. Subscribers, likes, and shares are a big part of my platform. And I implore you guys to hit the like and subscribe, the notification bell, and take a quick moment to hit the like, share, subscribe at all points in time at any one of my platforms. And then tell a friend or family member because I'd love if any of my future viewers and subscribers could hear about your experience first and foremost on my podcast, watching my channel, and getting to know me, your host, Cece, first and foremost. Thank you so much. Take care.